Hello there. What's going on, everybody? I'm still getting adjusted. We're gonna talk about some new Legion stuff that is out, and I'm kind of this is impromptu a little bit because I think it's worthy of its own dedicated video, but at the same time, I want to talk about it with you guys first. So I'll probably make some dedicated videos about stuff. All right. Got my notes here. I'm gonna do a giveaway. If you guys are, while this is gonna be largely a Legion-based game, I've got a bag. This is our Armada dice bag, token bag, Star Wars Armada bag. I'm gonna give one of these away, so that's kind of cool. And we'll do that towards the end of the live stream. So you gotta kind of hang out. If you're an Armada player or a Legion player or whatever. Yeah, but so these are kind of cool little bags. It's kind of felty. Usually I'm giving away promos and stuff, but this time I'm giving away a bag. Maybe there'll be more bags during the 12 Days of Life Day giveaway. Also, there's also live bags on my store. So if you check out the Teespring store, we got the dice prison, the bad dice prison. So Legion leak, yeah, we're gonna jump right into it, I guess. So there's been 2 new expansions leaked for Star Wars Legion. We know that there's 4 more coming. And before I'm not trying to like clickbait you guys. I know that I'm trying to wait for more people to come in before we talk about it. But it's Lando and Kallus. But I'm gonna start all that over again because I want to give it some more time. I want more people to show up because I want to talk about these 2. What we do know, it's still rumor. It's not an official thing, but it's again, all of the leaks tends to come out of Europe first. This one looks like it came out of Europe. It's on Reddit right now, and so we're gonna talk about them based on what information is there. There's some information that's not there. It's not in the same channels as previous. This is not April. No, this is not an April Fool's joke. So how you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing well. Lunchtime stream. We're going to talk about the Legion stuff. We're going to do the giveaway. I also want to address a couple of other things. Some people had asked me about a Legion miniature, the Commander Crabbok miniature that is available on Mel Miniatures' Shapeways site, because I had said I had painted it up. This is the Commander Crabbok. He's kind of in clone armor, and he's got double lightsaber nunchucks, and that's kind of how he looks painted up. I could have probably done better with this dude. This was I'm gonna order another one soon because I didn't do this one that well, because I didn't know how to paint white at the time, and I'm getting, I think, a little better at painting white. I've got to do Kingpin soon for Marvel Crisis Protocol, and that one's gonna test my white painting ability. And if you like nunchucks, we probably already saw my Darth Maul with lightsaber nunchucks from Order 66 miniature. That was pretty cool. And I've got a third nunchuck mini, and this is just one I made myself on Hero Forge. I used this one for a Star Wars RPG game. I wanted to make like a Dawutin dude, and with kind of Stormtrooper-ish or Jedi armor, and it was like so that one was fun. Anyway. All right, so I think we can go ahead and jump into it now. I think enough people are here. All right, how you guys doing? We're going to be talking about Legion today because there is 2 expansions that have been leaked. Now, there are 4 more expansions coming as part of this last wave that we know of right now. They're all going to be Empire and Rebellion, so presumably 2 Empire and 2 Rebellion. We got 1 of each of these. But what we do know is they had said that these were going to be some fan favorites, and at least one of these was not requested. And so when we pushed back, and I asked Luke Eddy about this in my interview, I said, so like, you saying nobody wants this? He's like, no. He clarified and said, I just haven't seen that one being requested. Doesn't mean nobody's requested it. And so I think that's one of the leaks that we got spoiled today. I think that's going to be Agent Kallus. I certainly have seen people ask for Agent Kallus, but it's not popular. It's not on like the top 5 or top 10 or maybe even top 20 of characters that people are asking for Star Wars Legion right now. But yes, so now I want to preface all this with, this is rumor. We don't know for sure right now what's going on with these leaks. And so, but that's the case with all leaks until it's officially announced by FFG, or if it were to show up on Lion Rampant, which is not there yet, at least right before making this video I checked. It wasn't up there yet. Now, granted, I think Asmodee has tightened down the screws in Lion Rampant, and they've kind of patched the leaks that were abundant over there. That's their distributor, one of their North American distributors for Canadian stuff. Like, there were a lot of leaks there before Gen Con, like tons of stuff, tons and tons of stuff. There's not really any leaks there anymore that I've been able to find, and I still check there periodically. But still, there's still leaks that have always come out of Europe, and so in this case, that seems to be where these have come from too. And since we have a pretty good track record, like, I don't think there's been a single case of a leak coming out of Europe that proved to be false. Like, they've all been verified so far. So that's a pretty good track record, and that's why I'm talking about it, because it has a pretty good chance to be true. Before I go any further, though, just real quick, if you are new here or if you haven't been here in a while, be sure to check down below. There's links for Facebook, social media. I'm doing the ARC Trooper giveaway that's running all month long. If you want to win ARC Troopers, one of them is by just being a subscriber and leaving a comment. Another one is by retweeting or sharing some of my posts on Facebook or Twitter, either one. That's running. All the details for all that stuff is on Crabbok.com. Be sure to check out my website. There's information there. I'm also going to be doing 12 days of Life Day giveaway. So if you're subscribing and leaving comments and watching my videos, you have more chances to enter to win that. And that's going to be in December. I'm just going to 12 times throughout December. I'm going to be doing more giveaways. Boom! It's like Oprah Winfrey style. I did this last year. Anything that doesn't get claimed rolls over onto Patreon. And so that is also going to be there. Also giving away an Armada bag. So if you're an Armada player, this is going to be giving away during this stream. So watch till the end. Sometimes I give away promos during live streams, but this one it is promo. This was like an old Armada tournament bag, and so I've got a lot of old like tournament swag and stuff like that to give away. So I'll let you guys know how to win this a little bit later on. So the leaks are. Lando and Kallus. For those of you who just come in, I've got some notes. I want to talk about them because I think they're credible. I think they're reasonable. I think they make sense. Funny story. I was just about to start making posts today. It's almost weird. It's like serendipitous. I said, you know what? I was walking down the hall and I'm like, where the fuck is Lando? Pardon my language, but I was thinking to myself, like, why don't we have Lando in game yet? And so then I log on and I see Reddit and I see this leak and I'm like, whoa, how strange that the idea just jumped in my head and all of a sudden now it's out there. It's just, to be fair though, I think about Lando probably at least twice a week. I mean, I named one of my kids Lando. So, I'm a big Lando fan. Now, that being said, there's a little more that we can talk about of things that we know and things that we can rule out from these leaks, and so I'm going to talk about that. If you guys are new here and you are looking for ways to support the channel, there's links to my Teespring store down below. Also, super chats are a great way to get my attention. There's a lot of comments coming in. Probably can't answer every question, but a super chat kind of shows up in big, bold letters, and it's very bright and colorful. So if you don't want me to miss your text, that's one great way to get my attention. Plus, it helps support the channel, so I do appreciate that. So I want to talk about Lando first, because Lando is the most hype as far as I'm concerned. We did a whole double critical episode where we talked about Lando, so that's cool. A sprue full of capes. That's funny. That's really funny. Yeah, hopefully we'll get at least 2 capes, right? So, Lando, first off, should have been in the game already. This is probably about the time that he would have showed up, though. So this is a good common sense. It makes sense kind of timing for him. I talked about in a recent video characters that need extra cards. I talked about Han Solo being kind of weaker. I think Lando gives the potential to bring some value to Han Solo. I think there's maybe the opportunity for Lando to come with some cards that might also be useful for Han Solo. So I think Lando can help that. Like, for example, I'm just going to spitball here. What if Lando comes with a training upgrade that grants long shot? Right now, all of a sudden, you can put that on Han Solo, and Han gets long shot. Now can Gunslinger at range 3 with Pierce 2 and 2 red. Wow, that's awesome, right? Like something like that. And they could even put restrictions on there. Maybe it has to be commander only or something like that. But the problem is, though, there's other people that you could put that on. Like, what if you put that on Iden Versio and things like that? So, like there's obviously more thought that has to go into something like that. But that's kind of where my mind is at. They could potentially, or they could just make it straight up Lando or Han Solo only. Like, they could totally just do something like that, like Smuggler's or Scoundrel's Luck or something like that. Like, they could easily just come up with something like with Lando that also benefits Han, makes him a little better. So that's a common suggestion, is if Han Solo had long shot or something like that, he would be potentially a lot better. And he could get those aims with Chewie that would also make Chewie a little better, because now all of a sudden Chewie is more likely to want to come into the game, get an aim token, teamwork it over to Han. Han now then can take an aim. Now he's got 2 aims. He can long shot and aim, get his reroll, all of this great stuff. So that's all really cool stuff. What we know about Lando and Kallus both are that they are commander expansions. They're listed as commander expansions. Now, this is significant. It means they're not operatives. It means that they're going to be a commander. So, we've got Lando coming in as a commander. Now, Kallus makes sense. He could be either one. I could see that. Lando, people are like, I saw somebody suggesting, oh, well, he might be Lando from Solo, a Star Wars story. I don't think there's any chance of that. I think this is Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, beige and blue uniform. This is General Calrissian. That's what I'm calling it right now, because that's the only version of Lando that makes sense as a commander. Unless, of course, you go into sequel trilogy timeline, which they're not going to do. Makes sense for it to be commander if he's going to be General Calrissian, which does leave room for other versions of Lando down the line. The blue, it definitely leaves room for that Empire Strikes Back version of Lando. Absolutely leaves room for that. However, I think this is going to be Return of the Jedi Lando. I think as a commander, right? You could make the argument that, like, Episode 5, Lando was, was a commander because he was the administrator of his facility. So that is a possibility. But I really see him as being General Calrissian. And then I think you leave room for a second Lando at some point. Now, I think he'll... In addition to maybe him having some cards that are going to benefit Han Solo, he might have teamwork. I can see him having teamwork with Han Solo, because even in Return of the Jedi, laundry's done. The dryer finished. You hear that? Yeah. Somebody in one of my videos is like, "You have the same washer dryer that I do." I'm like, "Yeah." Yeah, it plays a little song. But seriously though, like, I think Lando might have teamwork with Han. They were working together in Episode 6. They were in Return of the Jedi. Like, they shared the ship, and he was like, they were coordinating, having the shield down. He was almost able to, like, Han will have that shield down, and like, so, like, I feel like he's still gonna have teamwork with Han, even if he's General Calrissian. That could work. And I think something with long shot would be good for him. Another thing that is an option is that maybe he has some kind of way to go undercover with his skiff guard disguise, right? And this is an interesting one, because I think it would probably be a command card, because I think Lando's going to have really interesting command cards. He's a card player, he's a gambler, he's a scoundrel. And we got a super chat from Will J. Thank you for the super chat, Will. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, and I love you, brother. Appreciate it very much. Will says, "Hey, Crabbok, hope you're having a good one." Well, I am having a good one. I'm having a better one now. Is this a 501st sticker behind me? Yes. I'm having a great one now. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. Yes, this is a 501st sticker. This was, I believe I got this at Gen Con from one of you guys, from the Pacific Outpost 501st Legion. There we go. Boom. I don't really wear patches, so I just kind of set them behind because I don't have anything to kind of iron them onto. So I'm not a patch guy, but you know, but sometimes, yeah. But yes, buffering got really bad for a bit. Oh, hopefully the video quality is good for the rest of you guys right now. So when are the next previews for Legion? I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. We got Bleed Green one in the house. All you want is Kanan and the Grand Inquisitor. I'm going to get to that because I'm pretty sure that's what's coming next. Yes, so Lando should have some interesting cards. I think command cards are going to be really interesting with him because he's a card player, he's a gambler, he's a scoundrel. I think Lando is the best opportunity for them to bring some really cool cards into the game. But I feel like the better opportunity is if you're doing like Episode 5 and prior Lando, especially if you do solo a Star Wars story Lando, that should all be about Crabbok and those type of cards. Whereas General Calrissian is going to be more about actually giving some troops some orders. So I feel like it depends on which way they go. But if he's a commander, if he were an operative, I'd be thinking totally it's young Lando. But I think this is an older, more mature Lando who is a commander because it's listed as a commander expansion. So that one's going to be interesting. Another thing that also leads me to believe that this is Empire or Jabba's Palace. No, neither. Not Jabba's Palace. General Calrissian from the Battle of Endor. You know, in the Millennium Falcon with 9 Num next to him. Mudiata. You know, like 9 Num right there next to him. Yeah. Woo! Yeah. That Lando. No, that's definitely the Lando that we're going to get. That's what I'm thinking. The other thing, in addition to him being commander, is the fact that he isn't listed with anyone else. Like Iden Versio is like her and her ID-10T or her ID-10 droid or whatever. And you know, like even Darth Maul is Darth Maul and Sith probe droids. If this was a young Lando, it would probably be Lando and L3. It's not. If this was Empire Strikes Back Lando, I make the case that it would probably be listed as Lando and Lobot. And yet it is not. And we got a super chat from Dan Thaden. Thank you for supporting the channel, brother. Thanks, Dan. Dan says, command card, pure Crabbok, gives everyone in range 1 to 2 a dodge and an aim. That's a great idea. I love something like that. That first off, that works really well with Han and Chewie because they have teamwork. If they each are within range 1 and 2, they each are going to get 2 dodges and aims because each one is going to duplicate it for the other one. Really cool idea. I like that. I like that a lot. Honestly, Rebels don't have a whole lot of ways to get aims, so I think anything. That's why I was thinking long shot is a good option there. Cassie and Andor would work good with. I mean, that would have a lot of different synergies, and I think that would be a really fun idea. So yeah, I think there's a lot they could do with Lando, but the fact that he's not with anybody else kind of leads me to think that Lando is going to be by himself. He's going to be General Calrissian in the kind of tan and blue, and that's cool, man. I'm all for it. Also, that means both Han and Lando will be from Return to the Jedi. Makes me wonder if we're going to see kind of like third faction, non-aligned scum and villainy type stuff in the future. Are we going to get Solo, a Star Wars story version of Han, Chewie, and Lando that are not rebels, that maybe can go in any faction, right? Are we going to see stuff like that someday? Maybe they're, by doing a commander version of Lando, they're leaving themselves room for those scoundrels who weren't affiliated with the rebellion. I think that's a cool one. If you guys are just joining us, there are leaks for Legion. They are Lando Calrissian and Agent Kallus. I'm going to talk about Agent Kallus now because Agent Kallus is probably that one that they said was not anticipated or at least not widely requested. I haven't seen many people cry out for Agent Kallus. I have seen some, but I haven't seen that many people asking for him. He's certainly not at the top of the request charts, so to speak. But he makes sense. He's another character from Star Wars Rebels. We already have Sabine. Kallus is a little bit of an odd second Rebels character, right? So that's interesting, but it might make sense. I would expect Agent Kallus works with the ISB. He'd probably have some kind of intel abilities. His command cards might be to either gain information on other people, or maybe his command cards would be to like lock down or take prisoner. He might even have something kind of like bounty, like vendetta, right? He might have some type of vendetta against Zeb, right? He might have something like that. Like there's cool options for things like that. I don't know if they'll. I don't know if they're. I don't think they'll do something like that unless Zeb is also one of the other characters. I don't think Zeb will be one of the other characters. But I think Kallus and Lando will be very asymmetric. I think the two characters are fundamentally different, and so I wouldn't expect them to be like Cassian and Iden, which were like virtually identical. I think these two are going to be like flip-flop, like exact opposite of each other. Like maybe, like for example, if Kallus had bounty, then maybe Lando would have secret mission, right? I mean, not that, because I don't think they'll have that specifically. Or if one guy was a really good long range, maybe the other guy would be short range, but more dice or something like that. You know, so something like that. That's where so if you guys are just tuning in, Lando and Kallus are the new rumored next two expansions coming in for Star Wars Legion. Damon Williams shoots out a super chat. Thank you, Damon. And he says, want the core Mud Troopers. Yeah, more core. Mud Troopers is a great idea. A lot of stuff from Solo, A Star Wars Story, very likely to show up. Mud Troopers is a really solid option. It does become a little bit more tricky to kind of come up with more core options for the Rebels at this point, because you've hit all three movies during the Galactic Civil War, right? You've hit the Fleet Troopers you saw in Episode 4. You've hit the Rebel veterans, the Hoth troopers you saw in Episode 5, and you got and then your original Rebel troopers are Episode 6 guys. You've also got Special Forces, you got your Rebel Commandos, you've got dudes from Rogue One, right? You've got and some of those are Special Forces too. So it's like, how much more Rebel-y trooper type stuff can you get? I have an option, and it might not be a good option because they'd probably be Special Forces, but I'm thinking down like Rebel pilots, in the orange jumpsuits. I feel like the precedent has been set in that since Inferno Squad, the generic version of those are basically just Imperial pilots. I feel like orange jumpsuit Rebel pilots would probably end up being Special Forces. So I think what you have to do is you have to go with, for like the techs, the ground crew, maybe the guys who work on X-Wings and Y-Wings, the guys who are on the ground with the wrenches, the guys turning the wrenches, they're gruff. Like, I could see the Rebels having some, like, dude, these guys aren't marksmen, right? Like, they don't have big, long-range stuff. Maybe they're even melee only, or, like, maybe they only range one. Maybe they got short-range weapons. Maybe you give them long shot with a range 1 weapon so they can shoot range 2. Like, they've got some kind of scatter gun that's really short range or something. But maybe you give them long shot so they can get up to range 2, or I don't know. But like, you don't want to make fleet troopers. You don't want to nullify fleet troopers. But I'm thinking maybe give these guys 2 hit points per some kind of like B2 super battle droids, something like that for Rebels. Like some really gruff dudes who are like, and because they're engineers, maybe they can do some kind of maybe they get Repair 1 as an innate ability, like for a core with Repair 1 would be kind of interesting. I don't know, like I'm just kind of thinking out, trying to stretch it out a little bit, because you do have a lot of those techs and a lot of those unskilled laborers in the Rebel Alliance, and something like that could be somebody who's like doesn't have very sophisticated weaponry. That could be another core unit, something maybe a little bit more disposable, or the Bespin troopers, maybe the Bespin guards. But then at the same time, you're getting into non-aligned or neutral or scum and villainy stuff. Really kind of makes us wonder how they're going to go. Are they going to go scum and villainy? We don't know yet. So Kallus and Lando both kind of beg the question, are they going to bring about flaws? Because both of these characters are also known for treachery. That's the one thing that does kind of unite them, is that they, at least in Lando's case, temporarily switched sides. I'm not certain if this is going to be the key, because if it's Return of the Jedi Lando, he's not switching sides again by that point. So I don't think that that's going to happen. Rebel guards from A New Hope, maybe. I have to go watch New Hope again and look at all the costuming differences, see if they're different enough. I mean, you did have those sentries that were like watching with the binoculars and stuff like that. Like some people thought that was going to be one of these mystery units. So at this point, I want to back up a little bit. So we see Lando and Kallus are the leaked units. There's supposed to be 4 units coming. It's not supposed to be, and of course they'll probably space them out so you get 2 here and 2 there. You have the guys with the spears. Pardon me. 2 here and 2 there. I'm talking too much. I'm starting to lose my voice. There we go. All right, it's back. Now, they might have flaws. Kallus is certainly known for betraying to the rebel side. I think that just gives you room to make a different version of Kallus. Wouldn't it be really interesting if Kallus had it was dual faction? I don't think they'll do that, but wouldn't that be interesting? Wouldn't that be really interesting? I would love that idea. But I don't think Lando has any chance of being played for the Empire, though. You know, and again, I'm at the point. I think Legion as a game is at the point right now where we don't need all of the releases to be symmetrical. I think you might need some of the Clone Wars releases that are still coming out to be a little bit more symmetrical, like you know, the next Special Forces or the next support or the next heavy they get. They may want to be kind of similar, but we don't need the Empire and the Rebels to be getting stuff that does the exact same thing anymore. Like, that's one of the things I was a little disappointed with Iden Versio and Cassian Andor, is that they were like almost the same. Like, obviously they're different units, but they have so many similarities that I was just like, oh, okay, you know, they're not almost the same. That's an exaggeration. They have a lot of similarities, and so they felt very symmetrical, and the whole, like, you can be an infinite range sniper or a close range threat. You know, and so I was like, oh, okay, that's okay. But yeah, so Kallus and Lando, we're supposed to be getting 4 expansions. Now, we do know that part of this wave is Anakin and Maul. And Anakin and Maul are bringing about some new Force upgrades, like the offensive stance, for example. It stands to reason, and they're not changing from the mechanic. They don't want Force people to chase expansions just for one card. So what's probably going to happen is in this wave, you're also going to get a Jedi for the Rebel and the Empire, or, you know, a Sith or whatever, a Force user. And if they're using Kallus from Rebels, granted, technically Lando was in Rebels also, that it's going to be either Kanan or Ezra. I'm guessing Kanan, and I'm guessing the Inquisitor. Could be any of the Inquisitors. It would actually be cooler. I would like it better if it was like 7th Sister or 2nd Sister or something like it, or 5th Brother. I would like something like that much better. Actually, 7th Sister would probably be my first pick, because she was the first non-Grand Inquisitor we saw. So like I like that a lot. And I want them to build up to the Grand Inquisitor. I want the Grand Inquisitor to be some really powerful Inquisitor that comes out after we've got a couple of other Inquisitors already. Or Trilla. Trilla would be great. I think it's too soon for Trilla. The reason I say that is there's a long development cycle for Fantasy Flight to be able to take a product or character that just is released and then study them, design them, get them approved by licensing, get them, you know, play tested, get a mini built, get them sent off to manufacturing to come out and then finally release. While Jedi Fallen Order has been out for a little while, I don't think it's been out long enough. I think it's going to be at least the middle of next year before we see anything from Fallen Order show up in Star Wars Legion. That's my guess. I could be wrong about that, but look at X-Wing, right? We're just now getting the TIE Brute getting ready to come out. That was from Solo, a Star Wars story. Look how long it took them to get that. Like years, right? That's where I'm at with it. Same thing with Star Wars Squadrons. This game just came out. I've been streaming it. How many of you guys here in chat have watched any of the Squadrons streams? You know, like that's a cool game, right? And by the way, if you guys are interested in playing Squadrons, you can possibly play with me. Hop in my Discord when I'm playing. I think I'm going to be playing Friday. I'll probably be doing a live stream tomorrow for Star Wars Squadrons, probably tomorrow evening. Hop in my Discord, man. We got voice channels in there, put together 5-man teams, and you know, yeah, you might end up on my stream. But yeah, so it's You know, like it takes them a long time to do that stuff. So I don't think it's anybody from that, even though those are great options. I want Cal Kestis. I want Trilla. I want all of the characters really from Fallen Order. All of them, because there's really cool ones. Okay. So also, if you guys are just tuning in, I'm going to be giving away an Armada pouch. This is an old organized play dice bag, or you can use this for Legion if you wanted to put your tokens in there, or just put some dice in there. If you don't win and you still want a dice bag, I've got the new Carbonite, one of my new designs on my Teespring shirt, or Teespring shirt and merch store. There's links to it down below. It's a dice bag, and it has a whole bunch of dice on Carbonite. Basically, the dice, when your dice fail you put them in the bad dice prison. And the dice bag. It's a zipper bag. You can also use it for your tokens for Legion or whatever. It's opaque. It's fine for Legion tournaments and things like that. But you can put any game. It's D8s that are in Carbonite, so it works for X-Wing, Armada, and Legion. But if you need to rehabilitate your dice, pick up one of the bad dice prison bags. There's going to be links for the Teespring store down in the description. Check that out. There's also pictures of some of the shirts and masks and stuff we have down there as well. Okay, so Lando's coming, Kallus is coming, and oh, by the way, all of that stuff makes for great, look, this is a good time to start ordering stuff, ordering Christmas presents. Like, honestly, a Bad Dice Prison shirt or a Bad Dice Prison bag would make an awesome gift for somebody. Also, kind of funny. Sometimes you're looking for, like, a gag gift, or for a gamer friend in your life or something like that. That'd be really, really cool. So, that's my plug. That's enough of that. But yes, all right, so what are the other two going to be? I think they're going to go with the Grand Inquisitor and Kanan for the other two in this wave. First off, they do need Force characters. They also, you know, like Kanan and Ezra, if it's Kanan or Ezra, like they both could work. They're going to go with somebody who's recognizable. They're going to go with someone recognizable. I think Kanan and Ezra both have the option to have some kind of teamwork with Sabine. Not really necessarily like the teamwork keyword, but like Ezra fought with Sabine all the time. He could have the jump pack. He could get jump. He doesn't even need jump from, and here's what I would do. I wouldn't give Ezra jump because he's a Jedi in training, but I'd give him the jetpack as an optional equipment. So you could give him jump at an upcharge, which is a really, mechanically, like that totally works with Legion. Totally works with the way that we've been going also. Like with Rex and the clones and their jetpacks and all of this, and the Mandalorians, and we're getting more jump units. You know, like that was really, really cool. And so Ezra could also have a flaw because he was tempted by the dark side, or he's young, he begun training late. Ezra just works. But I think we should be long-haired Ezra, leave room for character growth. Long-haired with the stapler gun lightsaber that has or the slingshot or something like that. You know, it's got the little stun. Because he could be like Luke Skywalker. He could have a really weak weapon, doesn't have pierce, but maybe it has immobilize, right? Or suppressive immobilize weapon, and maybe it only rolls like one white die, you know, or two white dice, or something like that. Like really weak weapon, but it's suppressive, has immobilize. You know, I could see that. Or if he gets in close, then he can, you know, then he can do the lightsaber thing. Like, I think that'd be cool. I would even give Ezra Relentless. Give him a medium strength lightsaber. You know, like 1 red, 2 black, and 3 white. Or maybe only 5 dice. Like maybe a 1 red, 1 black, and 3 white. Something like that. Like a medium strength lightsaber. Give it Pierce 2. And something kind of cool like that. So like he's still a threat if he can get in close. But if he can suppress you, you know, like, you know, give him Relentless so you can move and do either. Like, I think that's fun. I think it'd be a fun way to run Ezra. If you're just tuning in, the leaks are Lando and Agent Kallus. We got a super chat from Keith. Thank you, Keith. What version of Ezra? The young kid as an operative or Commander Ezra? I think it's going to be the young kid. I think that's what you go with first. I think the young kid version of Ezra is a little more recognizable. Most of the merchandise that came out for Ezra was at the marketing stuff for the first 2 seasons of Star Wars Rebels, which was, you know, the kind of bowl cut mushroom kind of head Ezra. So I think that's the version that we'll get first. I think it's the more fun version of Ezra because he's more different. You know, he's got that stun gun and then the lightsaber also. He's got the affinity for beasts, which is totally cool. Like, I don't even know how you do that. Maybe you do Ezra and a Lothcat expansion, or Ezra and a what were those big beasts in season 1 when they fought on that planet? You know, like those big, you know, roar things that Ezra took control of. Maybe he comes with a beast and he has a command card that actually gets to like throw it onto the battlefield. Like, how cool would that be? And that would be a step towards neutral units. So here's what I think. I think it's definitely going to be Kanan that comes out in this next wave, because I think with Ezra, to do a wave based around Ezra, you need more creature-based things. I think you need a Rancor trainer, right? Something like that. I think somebody mentioned Thrawn. You know what? Thrawn is awesome, but couldn't Thrawn possibly, you know, like maybe have Islamir with him? Maybe that's a bit too Legends, too EU. Maybe I should back off of the Islamir. If you're just coming in, the leak is Lando and Kallus, the next two. But we know that there's 4 expansions coming, so that's why I'm talking. I already talked about Lando and Agent Kallus a little bit. No, Ezra and Thrawn work really good, but that's going to have to be older Ezra. That's for a little bit farther down the road. I also think that maybe you wait on doing teenage or older Ezra until we find out what's going on with Ezra and Thrawn. That might be a couple of years from now. Give us an opportunity to kind of see what's going on with there, because that could inform you, because you don't want to end up having 3 versions of Ezra, right? Let's say Legion does well. Let's say Legion continues to go strong for the next 10 years. I mean, X-Wing has been strong forever, so Legion certainly could as well. You don't want to have like this young Ezra. Makes sense because he came and went. He's already young Ezra. He lost that lightsaber. He lost the hair. That was young Ezra. You've got a complete package of young Ezra. You don't have a complete package of older Ezra yet, because his story picks up when they come out of hyperspace, and we don't know that story yet. So I don't think it makes as much sense to do old version of Ezra just yet. Kanan, on the other hand, perfect character to do because his story is totally encapsulated. We know all we need to know about Kanan, and so that's perfect. Now, there's also 2 versions you can do with Kanan, although I think you probably just do 2 head sculpts. You could do blind Kanan or sighted Kanan. I don't know. If they want to leave room to do extra versions, you could just do a sighted Kanan and then save room down the line for blind Kanan, who is like the knighted version, the Jedi Knight. I think you do first Kanan, like episode 1 of Season Rebels. I think you just to say Kanan, Jedi Outcast. All right, I think that's like his subtitle. You do Jedi Outcast Kanan Jarrus. It allows him to be moderately powered, kind of on the level of maybe Commander Luke Skywalker, a little more powerful. I think you give him Master of the Force 1, but I don't think you give him like super. I mean, he might not have a mastery, like a form mastery, because he's not a master, right? So I don't think you give him like a Taru mastery, or what was the form he studied from Depa Billaba? He certainly wasn't a master of the form, so I don't think you give Kanan any kind of mastery. I think you think Ahsoka before Kanan. Well, Joseph, that's a fantastic option. I think Ahsoka would be awesome, but I think Rebel Ahsoka would be really strong. I admit that I'm hoping to see Republic Ahsoka first. I want to see Kid Ahsoka first. I want to see the weakest version of Ahsoka first, so this way we can build on her. I think if you do the oldest and most experienced version of Ahsoka first, you now just painted a glass ceiling over every other version of Ahsoka, and that becomes problematic. The only way you can do that is if you make her over 200 points or something, some incredible price. And I'm not sure how I feel about that, right? Because I don't want to, that's one of the reasons it's hard to fit Palpatine in a list right now, because he's crazy expensive, So I really think it's going to be Kanan, and I think it's going to be one of the Inquisitors. I would rather it be like Seventh Sister, but I think recognizability is really important, and I think that they will opt to go for the Grand Inquisitor because he's the most recognizable. I don't want that. I want him to also be, because the problem is, again, when you make the most powerful character in an arc, your first one, you You can't have one of the sub Inquisitors be more powerful than the Grand Inquisitor. So if they make the Grand Inquisitor, he's got to be the best one, and that means everybody else that comes out after him has to be weaker or less than. So I would rather them go with some of like fifth brother or seventh sister or second sister or something like that. I would rather go with them, one of the numbered Inquisitors as a counterpart to Kanan. This way, you could have mid-level Force users for the rebels in the Empire. That's perfect. Like I think the Grand Inquisitor, is supposed to be is more of a high-level Force user, not as strong as Vader, but maybe he doesn't have Relentless or something like that. But that's what I think you do. I think you go for a mid-level one. I think. Well, it all depends on if they're going to do commanders or operatives. Like I think we've got enough commanders right now for the rebels, and so it could be Kid Ezra as an operative, and then as like Seventh Sister as an operative. Like all of that stuff works. Grand Inquisitor as a Temple Knight. Oh, that's a cool idea. I think that's much farther down the road. Yeah. All right, so if you guys, at this point, I'm going to open this up to the giveaway. If you guys want the Armada bag, give me one time in the chat, do hashtag superbag in the chat, and I'll pick a winner. And but basically, we got a couple, huh? But yeah, basically that's the leaks, right? It's Lando and Kallus, and the winner is going to be Carter J. Carter J, congratulations, you won this one. Make sure you shoot me an email, mailcrabbok@gmail.com. I'll get that out to you. Yeah, but I usually do giveaways on most of my streams. Well, not maybe about half of them. I've been trying to do it more and more lately. It's not a guaranteed thing you're going to have a giveaway every time, but it's something fun to do. And this one, we had a lot of cool stuff to talk about, though. We definitely... Oh, Qui-Gon. Yes, we absolutely need Qui-Gon. So, and then I guess the next question is, after we find out what the 4 expansions are, what's going to come after that? Because then it's like time for a whole different wave, and they could go any direction they want. I want more Jedi. I think it's time for the clone clone commandos, the Republic commandos. I think it's time for Republic commandos to come out. I think it's also what are those things? Those droids in I think first season of Clone Wars, or maybe it was second season, when the Separatists, the ships collapse under Kamino, and they reform underwater, and then they launch those droids. Those amphibious droids, and they're like walking around in the Kamino, the Aqua droids. I think those are a great option to show up for the droids, because they would have infiltrate. And it just makes sense. That's exactly what they did in the show. Like, they were surprised, they launched out of the water, they're here. So infiltrate makes absolutely good sense there. So that's something I want to see for the droids. If you just tuned in late, the leaks are Lando and Kallus, both Commander expansions, both coming for Star Wars Legion. Pung Krell, oh my goodness, absolutely Pung Krell. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so we got a lot of stuff coming. And also pretty soon, Jango Fett, yeah, absolutely Jango Fett for the Separatists, absolutely. I think pretty soon we're going to start seeing Mandalorian stuff come out for Star Wars Legion. Pretty soon. Also, have you guys played the Hero format, which is the format I came up with? This is just 800 points of just all commanders and operatives. Play on a 3x3. You can probably play on a 6x3 if you want, but just play on a 3x3. Use the skirmish objectives, but just 800 points of heroes and commanders. Throw all the rest of the list building rules out the window. Good guys versus bad guys. You can mix Republic and Rebels. You can mix Empire and Separatists. So you can run Vader and Grievous if you want. 800 points, commanders and operatives. Try that sometime. It's super fun. It feels different. It's a great way to put the dream team together that you normally could not have fit together. It's very fun. It's especially cool seeing Veers like hand Vader and aim, and hand Palpatine and aim. You couldn't have had 3 commanders before, right? Well, maybe if you ran operative Vader. Are you gonna make any 40k bat reps? Possibly. Currently, my Space Marines look like this. They're just primed Like they're not ready to go yet. I'm still trying to determine a color scheme. I have painted my Necrons though. The Necrons came out good. Did you guys see the Necrons video? Like I don't normally take a whole lot of pride in my painting, but I'm gonna show you guys, man. Let's do it. Let's flip it around. Look at these dudes, man. They think they came out really good. I guess they're just sitting on a terrain shelf. You know, the Necrons came out really good. I'm really pleased with them. Oh, have you guys? Did I show you guys my Mandalorians? Yeah, I did the Mandalorians, and that's Clan Ren. What else? What else came out with that wave? Oh yeah, Inferno Squad. We got the Imperial Special Forces right there. Yeah, Kallus and Lando. If you guys are just joining us, and there's Inferno Squad down there with Iden. So yeah, just a little painting stuff. I don't have any Space Marines done yet. I'm working on it. It's coming eventually. Coming eventually. All right, guys. That's gonna do it for this episode of the live stream. I will talk to you guys soon. I want to thank you all so much. No, the Salamanders is not a bad color scheme, but my buddy Sean already painted his all with Salamanders, so I'm not gonna like copy him. I'm gonna do something a little different. I think I'm gonna go more bluish, kind of like in the Ultramarines kind of vein. I want it to be a little bit more purple than that, but I'm thinking something bluish purple is probably what I'll kind of arrive on. All right, I will talk to you guys later. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, have a great day. How do I